Welcome to a Friday night fights. I don't know if we're gonna call it that, but that's just what's going on. It's Friday night. Kill event's about to start in 3 hours, and we still got galactic battles going on. I was jumping around saying hi to people. I ran into SXD and EXE, and holy crap, this game's taken off. Not super huge points, but 10 million to 50 million. That's pretty reasonable. So I jumped in, I was talking to the guys, and I see Dio has this legendary Stella 200k versus Rogers 200k tier 10 battle, and I'm amazed at the outcome. And I want to show this in the replay because this just doesn't happen. If you had to rerun this 9 out of 10 times, it would go in Rogers' favor. But we're going to watch this. I'm going to show you what happens here. It's everything from Season 3. No new gems here, no new meta for the new season, just a really expensive battle that went the wrong way. But this is a dice roll, man. There's no guarantees in this game. So check this out. 800k versus, or 200k versus 200. There's actually more leadership on Rogers' side, I think. So here we go. Rogers does get his first defensive stack. Okay, so slot 1 goes defensive. And he gets a cancer, which is more defense, which is probably an okay gem to have on Rogers. It's not maybe the best, but it's certainly a good one. It's one of the top 3 for sure. Alright, so he goes for the Awakening. The Awakenings aren't hitting the infantry on the other side because those are tier 10 walkers. They'll get hit because they have that airship advantage. But going into this fight, Stella has the disadvantage, in my opinion, against Rogers. Yes, she has infantry, but only 2 slots. So you're expecting Stella to get pretty wrecked here after the first round. But that is not what happens. And I think I missed it already. Shoot, I did miss it. So Stella had first strike, right? I think Stella had first strike. So Rogers must have been the defender. Oh boy, she's getting all these triggers. Here comes a good Sagittarius. Look at that hit. Boom, 50 units. And no trigger there. Look at that. Nothing happened. Another one. No trigger. Another one. So two in a row from Rogers did not trigger defensive. And then here comes a series of triggers. There's a defensive. Now he has 3. 3 stacks of defensive. But that one didn't trigger. Slot 6 didn't trigger. Just insta-hit. So he has 3 stacks of defensive. Now slot 1 is about to trigger. Barely survives. That's all he needed to do was survive, and he should have been immune at this point, but he's not immune. Alright, so slot 1's finally going to go. Oh my god, he's not going to go yet. You always want to be the defender as Rogers. You always want that. Here it comes. He does not get... He gets a tyrant, doesn't get to attack. He doesn't get the defensive stacks. Now he only has 2. He only has 2 triggers of defensive going. He only has 60% immunity. This is unheard of. This is an 80% trigger skill. And Stella just gets a second round on him and just rips him apart, man. Who would have thought, right? Like, oh my god. And he gets a Pisces, which doesn't need it, but man, Pisces just absorbs a full hit. Luckily, Rogers gets a little bit of vengeance here. He does do a fair amount of damage to those walkers. And now that those 2 slots are done, he can't go immune. I mean, he could, but he's still going to get shot right down the middle next turn. But luckily for him, he does get a little redemption here. Rogers' Tyrant Cometh does get to trigger off that first slot that didn't trigger his defensive stance. And he'll get a nice chunk of that tier 10 up front. But I don't know, man. This could be the unluckiest replay I've ever seen. I've had a couple bad ones in my day, but not with this amount of troops on the line. Now, granted, this was Galactic Battle, so no permanent losses here, but certainly painful to watch. Oof, I feel bad for Starchild. He should not have lost that. Tier 9 in the back row, not as good as Tier 10 in the back row. Could have had infantry in the back row if he knew he was going against other infantry instead of having airships. Because infantry works on airships, but oof, that was a painful one. Certainly painful. All right, here comes a Tyrant Cometh. Any day now. Watch how hard this thing hits. Oh, it didn't go yet. It's just a regular hit, but man, he took out 600 or 550 of them. Anyway, so that's the end of that. What a replay, man. What a replay. That was, oof, that was nasty. Let's see if we can get any other good ones here. Is that the same one? I hope that's not the same one. We'll go ahead and just put it on this video just to see what it is. Oh, now this was the first one where he tried out his Hoodoo. His Hoodoo did pretty well, I think, right? Now he got 40 there, 45, another 40, 81, 20, 300. Yeah, he did well. Yeah, he scored big there. 200 units, something like that. So good for him. Maybe more. And then Dio versus Tom. We're seeing all the best of Dio. We're going to call this Dio's video. There's a defense. That Tomcats, that decent Rogers setup. What is that? 30,000 Rogers, something like that? 45,000? I don't know. What are we expecting? One shot? What do you guys think? One shot? Tier 10 versus Tier 9. Walker. Oh, that's unfortunate. If he would have got the full slot, his rattle would have been much harder. He still gets the win, but yeah, that would have been cooler. Yeah, boo. Wow, that was like, you gave us 99%, but not the full blast. Really, Dio? That's sad. All right, last one. What do we got? This is the same one. It is the same one, right? I'm gonna speed through it just in case, because if it's a new one, I'm pretty sure Rogers is gonna win. Although that bottom row is 315. Yeah, no. This is the same one. Come on, come on. Oh, man, these Stella Rogers fights. Jesus, so many triggers. See, the thing about triggering and skipping a fight is there has to be 3 attacks, 3 basic attacks, then you could skip the replay. The amount of triggers, the amount of times Eternal or Wings of Eternity goes off, doesn't matter. The troop slot has to basic attack 3 times, then you can skip. So, there's the Rogers fight we were expecting to see. Okay, let's watch the proper one. That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay. Stella gets first strike. Rogers was attacking. Not smart. Not smart. All right. Immediately opens with a defensive stance, as expected. Tyrant cometh, so he doesn't get to attack, and he gets a cancer trigger. Okay, so he has bonus, 100% bonus defense. All right, here comes Stella. Lowers his attack with Dizzy. Lands a big hit. Second defensive stack. 80% chance to trigger. He should be getting them every turn. 1 in 5 doesn't trigger. You know, that's reasonable. But 5 out of 6 should trigger. And, okay. Oh, Pisces, nice. Absorb 1 big hit. It's really useful against Rogers' Tyrant Cometh, you know. The Tyrant Cometh hits hard. If you haven't seen my Rogers breakdown, watch that video. It's no joke. It hits really hard. So nice. He absorbed it all there. Really good. Pisces is really good. So, did I miss the defensive stance? I think I did. Let's see. Yeah, so his back row gets to keep going. There's the defensive. His back row gets to go while Stella's doesn't, and he's triggering those defensive stacks. Oof, man, those awakenings are catching him. Not hitting that hard, but there we go. There's another defensive. So Rogers is immune at this point, and there's nothing Stella could do about it. She doesn't have the counters to do it. She's just going to keep crashing into those ships. No matter what she triggers, no matter what gem she hits, there's nothing she could do at this point. Rogers can lose his defensive stacks. It does happen. If she knocks out the back row somehow and only gives him 5 chances instead of 6 each round to fall off, the defensive stacks to fall off, she could gain some ground. But no, Rogers, with this kind of a setup, and this is a fair fight, I consider this 200k tier 10, pretty reasonable setup. Stella should have troops in the back, but, you know, she wants to lower her risk, and that's fine, but she's paying for it now. But, yeah, I don't know how long this goes on. It's going to take Rogers a while to whittle her down. Now, I do know that Tyrant Cometh is going to come around and probably one-shot slot 2 on I can't point to it. But I think slot 2 is going to get wrecked here. Let's see. We'll let it go all the way around. All right. See, yep, 0 damage. Those defensive stacks keep triggering. Man, these Wings of Eternity. Oof. Over and over and over and over again. Stella's so good. She's so good. She's by far the best infantry commander. No one's even close. She's probably the best commander in the game. The only thing that's going against her is her Awakening. Her Awakening sucks. Great at beating commanders. Golem's Awakening hits harder, and it works with relentless bombardment. He didn't trigger his defensive there. Not that it matters, because he has 5 other stacks. Nice hit. Didn't trigger defensive there. Man, he's got really bad triggers. Huh. You know, knowing that you have a Rogers fight like this and how important defensive stance is, it makes you wonder if you should always just use the Dominion Hall. Just because you can't risk not getting your full defensive stack. It's just so crucial. You're just 100% relying on it. You get Cancer, the worst jewel trigger, just because of how important surviving that first round is. But here comes a Tyrant Cometh in slot 2. Oh, wait, no. It's going to wait for... Yeah, he has to wait till it comes all the way around. That's slot 1. There's a defensive stance. There's a Cancer. No Tyrant. Okay. Now this one is going to hit. This is Stella's turn. The next one after this, Rogers. Here we go. He gets to do his Tyrant Cometh attack, which should hit really hard. He might even trigger it. No, he doesn't trigger it again. Boom! He one-shot it. The reason that hits so hard is because of Tyrant Cometh. But yeah, that's the end of that fight. That was a beatdown. Wow, that was some crazy replays. But that's how it should have went. Not the first way around. But yeah, that's some really high-level Rogers versus Stella. And that's going to change. Those are battles from last season. Coming into Season 4, we're going to see a lot more different stuff, different gems, different setups, different troops. So stay tuned. If I see anything interesting, I'll put a video on it, throw it out there. So shout out to EXE Dio and SXD Starchild and Tomcat for showing us some of their stuff. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. All right. Bye-bye.